In a series of coordinated statements, the Trump administration has doubled down on its policy of maximum pressure against the Islamic Republic of Iran, outlining a clear objective of regime change in Tehran. A State Department release, circulated widely by us media and even picked up by Iranian state-run outlets like Ansar News Agency, affirmed that the campaign against the current regime in Tehran is a cornerstone of President Donald Trump's foreign policy. The statement, issued just hours before a scheduled presidential address to the American people regarding the escalating as Israeli military posture towards Iran, made it unequivocally clear that the administration's goal is not merely to curtail Iranian activities, but to alter the nature of governance in the Iranian capital. The military dimension of this strategy was detailed in the State Department's release, which outlined a series of ongoing military operations. According to the statement, these operations are designed to dismantle key components of Iran's military infrastructure, specifically targeting its three-stage missile program and the capabilities of its naval forces. The stated goals are threefold: to significantly degrade Iran's conventional weapons stockpiles, to cripple its ability to support allied militant groups across the Middle East, and to permanently prevent Iran from developing a nuclear warhead capable of threatening the Gulf region and, by extension, the U.S. homeland. A separate statement from the Treasury Department reinforced this message, framing the campaign as a clear plan to eliminate the possibility of Iran developing a long-range ballistic missile that could strike the continental United States. This hardline American stance has provoked a sharp response from Tehran. Iranian President Mohammad Said issued an open letter to the American people, the second such communication in recent weeks, directly questioning the intentions behind what he characterized as a US-led invasion threat. In his message, broadcast on Iranian state television, President Said sought to draw a distinction between the actions of the US government and the interests of the American citizenry. He firmly denied any aggressive intent from Iran, stating that his country has never chosen the path of aggression and rejecting characterizations of Iran as a tyrant, a dictator, or a source of international threat. The president's letter implicitly challenged the American public to consider their own stake in a potential war, framing the conflict as one driven by interests that may not align with their own. President Said went further in his critique, alleging that the United States is effectively acting as an agent of Israel in its efforts to provoke a war. He argued that the US administration is fabricating pretexts for conflict to serve Israeli strategic interests, even as it publicly claims to seek de-escalation. The Iranian president warned that any attacks on US infrastructure or continued military activities would only perpetuate human suffering across the region and further destabilize the Middle East. His message concluded with a pointed question to the American people. Would they stand with Iran in seeking a diplomatic resolution, or would they acquiesce to a course of war? Behind the public posturing, both nations have entered into a fragile and contentious negotiation process aimed at ending the hostilities. However, these talks have stalled due to a fundamental incompatibility of conditions. The United States has reportedly laid out a stringent 15-point plan demanding Iran's complete compliance. These conditions include a verifiable and permanent dismantlement of Iran's nuclear program with unfettered access to all nuclear sites, the complete termination of its ballistic missile program, an end to all support for militant groups across the Middle East, and an implicit demand that the Islamic Republic accept a state of defeat. Iran's counter-conditions are diametrically opposed. Tehran rejects a mere temporary ceasefire, insisting instead on a formal declaration that the war has ended. Furthermore, Iranian negotiators have asserted their nation's sovereign right to self-defense, including the production of necessary weaponry, a right they argue no external power can abrogate. In a reflection of the regime's defiant stance, Iran has also declared that any end to the conflict will be on its own terms, asserting that it, not the United States, will be the one to determine when the war is over. Amidst this diplomatic deadlock, voices from within Iran's political establishment are beginning to call for a shift in strategy. Former President Hassan Rouhani, widely regarded as a reformist figure less aligned with the hardline authoritarianism of the current leadership, has emerged as a key voice urging de-escalation. Addressing the Iranian National Security Council, Rouhani reportedly admitted that Iran must alter its approach to achieve an end to the war with honor. His intervention is seen as part of a broader, nascent internal effort to redefine the nation's leadership and strategic policy in the face of mounting external pressure. Meanwhile, The White House has reaffirmed that President Trump's campaign against the regime remains unchanged, projecting confidence in the trajectory of the conflict. This assertion coincides with a deeply troubling domestic situation inside Iran. A recent report from a Norway-based human rights organization details a severe escalation in state-led repression concurrent with the war. According to the report, the Iranian government has arrested and imprisoned an estimated 10,000 of its own citizens in the past month alone. This follows the detention of over 50,000 individuals during the January uprisings. The report also highlights a drastic increase in executions, a trend that has been intensifying since the large-scale nationwide protests that began in 2022. The organization estimates that the number of executions has risen from approximately 500 in 2022 to a staggering 1,500 in 2025, as the regime increasingly turns to capital punishment to quell dissent. International observers and several world governments are citing this record of corruption and brutal repression as a primary justification for pressuring the regime to fundamentally reform its leadership structure and respect the basic human rights of its populace.